What makes a great story?
This is the best team in the AFC.
Characters.
Wide open is Chase, and he splits in the fingers.
Protagonists and antagonists facing off.
Patrick Mahomes.
What everybody else talking about is about us.
There needs to be a plot, one with a deeper meaning.
Our expectations go win the Super Bowl.
A story of small margins and even finer details.
And Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl.
Conflict must enter the picture.
And he dives for the touchdown.
I said, give me my money.
The drama of the moment heightens what's at stake. A story like this requires football's penultimate stage. On Sunday, when we take the field,
We don't get started from the top. We got unfinished business with these dudes, man.
the resolution will remain unwritten. But the way this story goes is, they gotta play us.
Kill.
He comes down with it.
Intercepted by Cam Taylor-Britt, and that is officially coffin nails.
The Bengals are one win away from repeating as AFC champions and returning back to the Super Bowl as a trip to Arizona is on the line Sunday at Arrowhead. Welcome into another one of our Bengals Weekly Playoff Specials. I'm Marissa Contepelli.
And I'm Chris Renko. This week we swapped the buffalo wings for some Kansas City barbecue. Basically, Marissa, we're right back where we were last year. Same opponent, same things on the line. What is old is new again. And the Bengals certainly hoping for the same outcome as last year. Let's now send it out to the land of the Chiefs' kingdom with the third member of our crew, Gary Miller, is standing by.
We're back at the scene of the crime as the Bengals go for the four-bagger, the grand slam of head-to-head meetings with the Chiefs. The one in the championship game last year kept them perfect for the conference title, 3-0, and they've never failed to reach the Super Bowl when they get this far. Coming up on our show, one-on-one with Zach Taylor as he talks about how he motivated the team to beat the Bills and what they're going to do to deal with Cincinnati Bearcat alum Travis Kelce. That's all ahead. Right now, let's head indoors. Back to you, Marissa.
That's right, Gary. A lot coming up on the show. But before we look ahead to Sunday's AFC Championship rematch against the Chiefs, let's rewind the film and relive the Bengals' dominating divisional round win against Buffalo.
Happy to have you with us for our coverage of this playoff game between the Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. The playing surface covered with a light dusting of snow. You can see footprints. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
This is what it's all about. Now, look, man. We got to get started from the jump, bro. We got to get started from the jump. We got to unfinished business with these dudes, man. Let's go take this win, man.
Third snap and first down as Burrow steps up, throws and complete to Tyler Boyd. Here they toss it to Mixon. Gets a running start. A good yardage for 10.
Shotgun snap, short drop by Burrow. The pressure comes from the left. He throws it in the middle.
Baby.
Caught at the 9. Chase straight ahead into the end zone. Touchdown on the opening drive for Cincinnati. Allen back to throw, looking left, throws it deep downfield, too high and too far for Stephon Diggs.
Take the fight to his ass every time, bro. Hey, bro.
Second and 6. Oh, what a big opening for Mixon. And he gets all the way to the 50. Adeniji, the right tackle, who's in for Collins as of a couple of weeks ago. He made the play for 16.
Joe waits for the shotgun snap. He catches. Pump fakes to the right. Throws to the end zone. It is caught by Hayden Hurst. Touchdown! Bengals. Burrow sucked the Bills in with the pump fake, and Hayden Hurst was wide open at the goal line.
Keep executing. Keep executing. Job on the catch. Hey, in the words of Joey B, that was a dot.
3rd and 5, looking for the first down. Hendrickson from behind, and the ball is tossed.
Just a 3-man rush, but somebody with a great effort, and this time it's Trey Hendrickson.
It's an incomplete pass, just to clarify.
And right now it looks like Cincinnati is absolutely dominating.
Tell us something. Hey, boy, that
10, right in the middle of the field. It's Hurst. Somersaulting to the 35.
So this will be a 28-yard field goal attempt for Evan McPherson. Chrisman puts it down. The kick is up, and it is good at the half. Cincinnati 17, Buffalo 7.
Cook tries to cut outside. It's not there. That was Hilton who read the play and brought it to a halt.
Y'all know I'm the best in the league, man.
His kick is on the way, and it is good. A 25-yard field goal for Tyler Bass.
Had plenty of time, and Hurst leaps for the first down. Whew. What a play by Hayden Hurst. Give it up, hand it off, Mixon.
That is a touchdown, and Cincinnati is up 14, possibly going to the 4th in Buffalo.
You guys balled your asses up. The whole world down, you guys. We still a big collective. Love it.
Now he's going to launch it deep downfield. Intercepted by Cam Taylor-Britt.
Nice.
And that is officially coffin nailed.
Bam, bam, bam.
And the Cincinnati Bengals are headed to Kansas City for the AFC Championship game.
Well, Zach Taylor just keeps adding to his franchise record amount of playoff wins. For the first time, though, it didn't come down to last-second heroics. The Bengals won by more than one possession. Gary sat down with the head coach to reminisce on a snowy yet dominant performance in Buffalo.
There's flights back and there's flights back. You get into the AFC Championship and return. Anything stand out with the flight back and the celebration after the game?
It was exciting to go on the road in that environment, pull off a win. I think guys felt really good about it, anxious to get back and get back to work. Really, it's kind of the sense you get. It wasn't, oh my gosh, look what we just did. It was, let's get back and start getting ready for Kansas City. Last year we didn't know our opponent on the flight back, on the drive back really, and this year we do. So you knew what you were about to get ready for.
Game balls that went out, amongst them were 3 first-year players. How gratifying is it to see that development?
It's good. I mean, you need these young players to step up, and they did that for us. And in the elements, I thought our specialists did a nice job. It was tricky. The footing was tricky. The slippiness of the ball was tricky. And then for Cam to get that pick at the end of the game, he did a nice job tackling the game, covering, and to get that pick was a good moment.
We talked a lot about motivation in the Monday media gathering. 13-1, that seemed to really hit a tone with this team. Give me the development of that and what you saw in the reaction once you mentioned that the Bills own the greatest home postseason record in NFL history.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that until later in the week when I saw it on the internet and thought, you think for a moment, is this something that would turn the team the wrong way? Oh man, what environment are we walking into in tough conditions and no one wins here? And I really knew that just the way our team is built, it was going to go the other way. That we wish they were 13-0, and you could be that first loss for them. And instead they were 13-1, and so these guys took it to heart that we wanted them to be 13-2, and that's what the guys did.
You mentioned that you'll do a Google search or internet search to try and now we're so late in the season you had to come up with almost 24 of these now and hopefully 2 more. What is the search word that you use to try and find something?
No, sometimes you just get ideas of messaging you want to get through, and you go through different avenues to do it. Sometimes just speaking. Other times it might be a movie scene. Sometimes it might be a stat, and sometimes it might be a picture of where you're going and what your mission is. And so, again, you just got to be resourceful and try to be creative as best you can to keep their interests and motivate them.
Well, after the break, we know how the game looked and sounded on Local 12, but we see it now from the aspect of T. Higgins and Mike Hilton as they don the mic for this week's Mic'd Up.
Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Alta Fiber, proud to be the official internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Mixon and his offensive line were better together in the Bengals' win over the Bills. In a cold and snowy Buffalo environment, the Bengals leaned on the run game as the O-line paved the way for Mixon's career playoff high 105 rushing yards on a 5.3 yards per carry average. And as the third quarter was winding down, the big men up front gave Mixon the push he needed to get into the end zone and extend the Bengals' lead to double digits.
It was just great to get the running game going early, because then it kept us unpredictable. And Joe ran the ball extremely hard today.
We from Cincinnati. We practice in every single weather. It gets cold as a cold, and it gets hot as a hot. And we always tell ourselves we play best in the most extreme conditions.
The 172 yards on the ground is the most the Bengals have rushed for as a team on the road since 2019. Joe Mixon and his offensive line are better together. Brought to you by Fifth Third Bank.
Well, it's always a treat when we have T. Higgins and Mike Hilton on the mic during games. But last week in Buffalo, they were both the Feds. So let's take you down to field level as Higgins and Hilton were both mic'd up against the Bills.
Live, love, and fight for each other, dog. Family on three. 1, 2, 3. Hey, this is my first time playing in the snow. Mine too. First snow game? Playoff game? All right, then. Hey, y'all know where we at, man. Buffalo, New York. Playoff football. Y'all know what I'm about to say. Tune in and enjoy it, boy. Bengals win on the way.
Burrow back to pass. He throws. Leaping catch made by T. Higgins.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go!
Shotgun snap, short drop by Burrow. The pressure comes from the left. He throws caught at the net. Chase straight ahead into the end zone. Touchdown on the opening drive for Cincinnati.
Hey, hell yeah! Hell yeah! That's easy. That's too easy. I was wide open.
All we gotta do is our job, bro. It'll be easy.
Fakes to the right. Throws to the end zone. It is caught by Hayden Hurst.
Yes, sir! Let's go, man. That's what we're talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I know some people like this, but this ain't for everybody, and I'm one of them everybody. Let's go, fellas. We might as well keep getting 3 and outs the whole game. That's a catch. That's a catch. Yeah. I can barely run in this snow. The ref really didn't want to talk to me. Nah, I ain't get on that ground. I ain't get on that ground. Ah! Hey, I'm gonna put all 185 pounds on his ass. Hey, rush lanes, be smart. Let's end it. Let's end it. I got you, Zach. I got you. That's a fumble. They ain't lying, bro. That's a wow.
Big time, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. MVP. 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 Let's go next week. Yeah. Let's go beat them. And then win the big dead week. It should really show why you MVP.
Intercepted.
Let's go! Snow Angel, fuck it. Snow Angel, fuck it. Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
The Bengals not only repeated as winners in the division round last week in Buffalo, it marked the first time all season they've won by more than 2 scores on the road. In this latest playoff edition of Lap's Look, Dave dissects how they dismantled the Bills.
The big concern going into the playoff game against the Buffalo Bills, how would the offensive line play? 3 new starters. Oh, geez, what's going to go on up front? Talk about it all the time. An offensive line is 5 playing as 1. Got to give them a lot of credit. They brought their A game to a very important game. Congratulations to all of them. Let's take a look. The Bills were twisting and stunting up front. End, penetrate, tackle Luke, called an ET stunt. Watch the Bengals zone block this and pick it up effectively. On the backside, going to fake like a tackle end stunt. He's going to spin inside, and the end's going to stay up the football field. They sort it out here. They don't know if it's going to be a twist or not. This one is a twist. It's an ET. Both of them handle it beautifully. Pass that one off. These guys stay with the men they're supposed to stay with. Outstanding protection, breakdown in coverage, touchdown to Hayden Hurst. On this one, you have two linebackers side by side. Who's blitzing, who's dropping? They're gonna run basically a super loop. Milano's gonna drop out into coverage. They pick it up exceptionally well. Ted Karras, one-on-one on Oliver. Great pass rusher. He does the job. Check out Volson, come off and take the super looper. Tremendous protection, get the ball out, run after catch, beautiful play. Both teams playing muscle ball. It is full-grown man time. Watch this full-grown man, Jamar Chase. Crack the defensive end. He's gonna seal the defensive end. Here comes the tight end. Here comes Jackson Carman. Jackson Carman coming around the horn on the linebacker Edmonds. What are you gonna do? Move him, finish him, boom! Pancake block. Put some syrup on that bad boy. Again, muscle ball here. An extra offensive lineman, Smith, two tight ends right here. The field's tilting this way. The Buffalo Bills have a good idea where the Bengals are going to run the football. The Bengals still do a good job. Everybody comes off the football, mashes people, moving people, little natural hole right here. Joe Mixon just gets caught up in the foot right here. Just tripped up a little bit, and Joe knows, oh, man, that was there for me. I'll tell you what, the Bengals offensive line, physical at the line of scrimmage in the running game, knocked the Buffalo Bills around. That made protection a lot easier. Joe Burrow took advantage of that. The Cincinnati Bengals in the trenches, offensive and defensive line, dominated the Buffalo Bills. They are the most physical football team.
When we come back to Zach. Deja vu all over again for Coach Taylor and his team. How are things going to be for the fourth time around with these Chiefs?
Last year, whenever you play the Chiefs, you got to account for Tyreek Hill. How have they changed without that specific weapon and kind of spread things a little more?
Yeah, they've spread it out. They got a lot of different weapons that they've added to the mix, that they do a good job not missing a beat with those guys, and Patrick does a great job dispersing it to wherever the open guy is. Again, they've got really good players there. They've done a great job adding speed and quickness and awareness in that system, and they do a really, really good job keeping you off balance.
It's up to you and Lou Anarumo and the defensive staff, and we keep watching Travis Kelce do the things he does and say, how does that guy get open? You know they're going to throw to him. Are you still working on that secret formula of we're going to be the team that denies him?
I mean, so many times he's covered, the route's covered, and the play gets off schedule, and you just see some savviness to uncover at the last second with perfect ball placement. And they can read each other's body language. They've been together for so long, they feel each other. And so sometimes, regardless of coverages you have, how many guys you got covering them, they just find a way to make a play, and that's what great players do.
How much is it going to help your guys, the overwhelming majority of which were in that game last year, and what's billed as the loudest stadium in all of sports, let alone the NFL? How much will it help to have been in that environment and succeeded?
I think our guys know what they're walking into. They know the layout of the locker room. They know the pregame warm-ups. They know what the stadium's going to sound like, and so that stuff doesn't hurt you. Probably too much is read into all that, but again, it's a good thing. We've been there and done that before. We know it's going to be really loud. They do a great job getting all that noise in there and making it hard on their opponents.
Zach, oftentimes, especially when you get to this situation, your road hotel is shared by a lot of Bengals fans. What's it like to be in that lobby, get in the elevator, and then see the kind of reaction you get? It's one thing for fans or whatever, but you're in the elevator together. And what's it like to see the kind of support?
Awesome. Our fans travel really well. We see that, we feel that, we hear that. We appreciate that, certainly. I do my best to stay away from it all, and stay out of the lobby and maybe use the stairwells where I can, but we do appreciate the fact that they want to be there. We had a bunch of kids in our hotel on a hockey team that were pressing all the buttons, trying to see the players, and I like that. I could see my kids doing something similar if we happened upon a hotel where another team was staying, and it's a cool experience for the kids, and our players deal with that the right way.
So Zach Taylor has more playoff wins than anyone else in Bengals franchise history, but how about this? Taylor actually has the best win percentage in the postseason of all active head coaches who have coached at least 5 playoff games. He's only second all time to the great Vince Lombardi for best postseason win percentage of all time.
15-87. That's all you need to say for most football fans to know exactly the duo you're talking about. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce have an undeniable connection, and they have earned the reputation for being 2 of the best. And the Bengals defense, they knows that it starts with shutting those 2 down on Sunday.
2 Hall of Fame type of players, best tight end I think we've ever seen, one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. Those 2 guys have made this game evolve in those 2 positions. Being aware where number 87 is every down, every second of a play will be key.
I mean, that's one of the best tight ends that's in the game. You got to eliminate his touches. He had 14 last week. You take his guy away, you make the other guys beat him.
Most people know that's Mahomes' go-to target, so you got to know where he's at all times. He's going to find ways to get open, and that's what I think makes Mahomes so special is he can scramble and make every throw across the field, and he's always looking for Kelce because of the talent that he is.
They also got other weapons too out there, so we can't sleep on them, but like you said, he's one of the best tight ends. You can see what he do on film to people all the time.
Yeah, we're going to play the AFC Championship, but it's still the same game of football we've been playing since we were little kids, and so just don't make the moment too big and just kind of live in the moment, So that's kind of our mindset.
Well, it's been the mantra that's taken the city by storm. Coming up next, we sit down and talk to the guys as they tell us what "they gotta play us" means to them.
Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, the official bank of the Cincinnati Bengals, and your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires.
Welcome back to our Bengals Weekly AFC Championship Playoff Special. Now, we first heard it post-game in Tennessee back in Week 12. They gotta play us. It's been that message that has naturally stuck in the locker room and has taken the city of Cincinnati by storm. And it's a motto that fits this Bengals team pretty perfectly.
You can't talk your way into making somebody respect you. Sometimes you just gotta go out there and play. That's what I love about this game. Respect is earned, not given. I still remember the first time somebody told me I wasn't good enough. I took it personal. I didn't believe it.
I think it just adds to the chip on the shoulder a little bit. There's a lot of names and faces that are still in my head that told me these things.
People not counting on me, man. I grew up in a small city, still doubting me at college, labeled as an underdog. In my mind, I always play with that chip on my shoulder.
It's a challenge. Competitors like challenge. It's also a motivation to give your best in whatever the task may be.
You're going into a situation, you're not expected to have success, you're not expected to win. And I think that's why the men in this locker room, we understand, we put the work in every single day.
All that matters is what's inside yourself and the guys that we got in this locker room and what's inside of us. We're never just going to lay down and give something away. We're going to scratch and claw and do whatever it takes.
Hey, what did we say last night about their schedule? They got to play us! They got to play us!
Coach Taylor, his whole message is it's about us, and it was that they got to really play us. I kind of just chimed in to accentuate that.
Coach Duff was the one that brought it out. A lot of teams would look at it, we got to go on the road and we got to play. But we got to go on the road and they got to play us.
Let's keep the camera on. There's going to be a whole bunch of plays made. Who They Nation about to go up.
Love these men in this locker room, the attitude that we go out there and play with because we know who we are. It's a standard that was set last year, even when we didn't know. We were still just going out there, proving it for the first time. We know what our players are capable of. We know what this organization is capable of.
With the confidence side of it, brings out the swagger, it brings out the personality on top of winning. It just brings out the camaraderie, just feeding off each other. We got a team full of selfless players on it. We are willing to do whatever it takes to help this team win, and that's what it's all about.
It's a bunch of people that really care about each other. Talent's certainly important, but if they have genuine care, I think that's the component that has given this team the opportunity to continue to climb the mountain to be the best it possibly can be.
We gotta get it started from the jump. We got unfinished business with these dudes, man. Let's go take this win, man. Let's win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
They got to deal with us because every time we step on that field, we know it's all about us. If we execute the way we know how to play, nobody beating us.
Coach Taylor hit it right on the head. He said, this is where this team is supposed to be. We're supposed to go on the road. We're just going to be road dogs. Everyone's going to have, your number, but they got to play you.
The whole world doubts you guys. We still big collective.
You have to earn respect. As we continue to play and do the best of our ability, that teams will start to have more respect for us and understand that they've got to play our team.
We're built different. We know what we're capable of. We're the reigning and defending AFC champions. All I would say to somebody that doubt us is keep watching.
We don't get a chance to go make people respect us. We expect to go out there and play our game. So any team we go play, they got to play us.
For the division round edition of Who Dey Conversations, Dan Hoare, Jeff Hobson, and Dave Lapham recalled their favorite postseason moments in Bengals history. Maybe we'll get something to top them here in KC in this AFC Championship game. Time now for the latest edition of Who Dey Conversations.
The Bengals have won a team record 10 consecutive games. They are one win away from a return trip to the Super Bowl. It's an amazing team. It's an amazing time to be a Bengals fan. And in this Who Dey conversation, we are going to take a look at three of the many things that makes this team so special. Lap, you are up first.
First of all, you have to respect each other as players. You have to respect what the guy can do as a football player. And this team has total respect for each other. When you add the component of liking each other to that, not only respecting, but liking, because guys aren't going to be friends with everybody on the football team. But I'm telling you, it seems like there's a high percentage of everybody getting along. This team likes each other. And when you add respect and like, it becomes dynamic. I mean, they hang around each other. They have their own meetings. The team takes it to another level by position groups. And this football team, man, it is cohesive. These guys just plain like each other.
Just like the three of us. Butch, you're up next.
Look at the fourth quarter. I love these guys because they always come through. 7 straight games have gotten a turnover in the fourth quarter, and it could be anybody. Franchise icons Sam Hubbard, Cam Taylor-Britt, the rookie, Max Sharping coming off the bench, opening up for Joe Mixon. It's anybody and everybody, and it is an every man's team because everybody's told these guys they got the biggest chip in the world. If you're told you're lousy, you always want to prove you're not. The Bengals have said, you know what? We're not lousy, we're good. And I think everybody can kind of relate to that.
All right, one of the biggest things that stands out to me is the bond between this team and the fan base. And I thought last Sunday in Buffalo was the perfect example. You could clearly hear Bengals fans yell, T, every time the T. Higgins made a catch. You could hear the Who Dey chant, even if you were watching the game on TV. And at the end of the game, the first few rows of the seats were filled with fans wearing orange and black, celebrating with the players after the win. And then, of course, when the team got home, the tradition continued, started by Zach Taylor last year as game balls were delivered to local establishments, and now that has been expanded to Bengals bars all over the country. Those are three of the many things that makes this team special, and hopefully on our next Who Dey conversation, we'll be talking about a return trip to the Super Bowl.
For 10 straight weeks now, you could count on the Bengals to come out on top. And you can always get Marissa Contepelli's countdown for compelling stats and storylines. That's coming your way next.
You are consistently viewed as an underdog.
I never feel like an underdog.
Take that. Who Dey Nation, we turn.
Touchdown! Coffin nail!
Bam, bam, bam!
The Bengals are heading to Kansas City.
We are back with you on our Bengals Weekly Playoff Special, where the name of the game has been balance, as the Bengals have found different ways to win during this 10-game win streak. And as history has shown, to have a shot at being the last team standing, you have to have a complete team.
The Bengals enter conference championship weekend with both a top 10 scoring offense and defense. Meanwhile, the Chiefs may bring in the league's top scoring offense, but hold the 15th scoring D. Each of the last 6 Super Bowl champions had a top 10 scoring offense and defense that championship season. Well, we are set for round 4 of Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes. Burrow's 121 passer rating against Mahomes is the best among the 16 quarterbacks to face Mahomes multiple times. And Joey B's 126.6 passer rating back in Week 13, well, that's the highest allowed by the Chiefs this season. Burrow and Mahomes are the only players in the NFL with 10,000 passing yards and a 100 or better passer rating over the last 2 seasons, as the pair also rank 1 and 2 in QB wins since 2021. Now, as for 2 of their favorite targets, Jamar Chase and Travis Kelce have established themselves as 2 of the best pass catchers in the postseason. Since entering the league in each of their respective seasons, Chase and Kelce ranked first at their position in receiving yards, receptions, and are both in the top 3 for touchdowns. In 3 career games against the Chiefs, Chase's 139 yards per game average is the most all-time against Kansas City. Well, Bengals receivers led the NFL this season with a combined 25 touchdowns, as the connection between Burrow and T. Higgins is a big reason why. Since 2021, when aligned wide, Burrow has averaged a 123 passer rating when targeting Higgins. That's second highest among all receivers in the NFL. And when aligned wide this season, Higgins is the only receiver in the league with at least 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Now, as for the defense, the Bengals have been dialing up the pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Against Buffalo, Lou Anarumo's unit pressured Josh Allen on over 39% of dropbacks. That is 11% higher than their average during the regular season. Back in Week 13, the Bengals pressured Mahomes on 38% of dropbacks. That was a season high against the quarterback, as he went 1 for 9 for 19 yards and took 2 sacks during those plays. And over the last 2 postseasons, the defense has tightened it up in the second half. The Bengals have held QBs to under a 57 completion percentage and a 60 passer rating, with a 3 touchdown to 7 interception rate, as they have also recorded at least 1 takeaway in the last 6 postseason games.
Contepelli's Countdown is presented by Betfred, and don't forget that sports betting is officially live in Ohio. Download the Betfred app today to get in on the action. The Bengals encourage you to gamble responsibly. Now, the Bengals offense may not impress everyone out there, but I, for one, I am impressed by what Zach Taylor's unit does on offense. And those guys, they know what's at stake on Sunday.
I just look in everybody's eyes right now, and I could just sense, like, my dogs is ready.
We've been in these spots. We have the experience. We know what team we're playing. Team that's been to this game the last 5 seasons, and they've all been in that stadium. So to me, they're still the team to beat, and we're coming for them. But we know it's going to be tough. We know it's going to be hard fought, and we know the kind of players that they have on that side.
When you think of the Chiefs defense, you think Chris Jones first, and then Frank Clark second, and they have a lot of really other great players too. But you need to negate the best defenders on all these teams to be successful. So that's our goal going out to do it.
The players, you can tell, believe in the scheme, and they do a great job bringing it to life. So they're put in good positions that make things difficult for you. And so again, he's a big reason why they continue to be in this position. They got a great defense, they got good players, but they utilize them the right way as well.
But at the end of the day, we know what we have to do. If we go up there and we execute and continue to move the ball and we stop them on defense, then we're going to play our game we do it each and every week.
So a lot's been made of the Bengals' win streak over the Chiefs. It's actually tied for second active win streak against an opponent, tied with the Titans, Buccaneers, and Falcons. The longest win streak the Bengals have against a current opponent is the Detroit Lions. They've won 7 straight. Last loss all the way back in 1992.
Don't forget to check out Bengals Picks, presented by Ohio Lottery, now in the Bengals app for your chance to win prizes throughout the season. 18 and over. Terms and conditions may apply.
When we return on Bengals Weekly, we know Mahomes versus Burrow is the showdown everybody loves to see. Richard Skinner joins me, though, to break down the key matchups other than that to watch.
Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Betfred, the official sports betting partner of the Cincinnati Bengals.
plan. Team that's been to this game the last 5 seasons, and they've all been in that stadium. So to me, they're still the team to beat.
We know we're playing a great football team that's beat us the last 3 times, and so we have to learn from our mistakes in the past and be better.
Well, Mahomes and Burrow quickly becoming the next generation of Manning versus Brady. Burrow has the upper hand, 3-0 all-time against Patrick. What's it going to take to go to 4-0? Local12.com's Richard Skinner joins me now to break down some of the key matchups. So, Skinny, so many matchups are going to determine this, and the littlest mistakes could affect the outcome of the game. Your first matchup to watch, it's on the interior of the offensive line for the Bengals. Cordell Volson played well as a rookie, but Chris Jones, a really tough matchup.
He is a game wrecker. He's an all-pro for a reason. But you know what? The last couple of meetings, you haven't heard much from him, and that was Quentin Spain last year, Cordell Volson in the meeting this year. If Cordell Volson can win this matchup again, it's going a long way towards obviously Joe Burrow being protected and having a big day.
Now, the big matchup on the coaching side, Lou Anarumo has made a streak now of shutting down these top-tier quarterbacks. Andy Reid, though, one of the best offensive minds the NFL has seen in a really long time.
He gave us the merry-go-round huddle, right? I mean, that's the greatest invention ever. But Andy Reid is a genius. I mean, he really is. It's not just what he's done at Kansas City, what he did in Philadelphia before that, all those things. But so is Lou Anarumo. I mean, he's got the reputation now of he's the guy that's going to stop all these great quarterbacks with different schemes, different schematics, different things. This is a great chess match that I wish we could actually know both minds and what they're doing at the time they're doing it.
Now, the Bengals have young corners that have been playing well. Cam Taylor-Britt, Eli Apple. The Chiefs secondary, also very young, and they're going to have to go up against Jamar Chase.
Yeah, they got 2 rookies back there, a first-round pick and a 7th-round pick doing it. And it's not just them going up against Jamar Chase. It's going to be the help that's given to him that could open up other things. Because if they don't help, we saw what Jamar Chase did to Kansas City when they didn't help his rookie season in the regular season. He torched them. So this time around, they're going to probably have to get some more help, which will open up more things.
And the final matchup is the one that we're going to be talking about all week until the game kicks off. Patrick Mahomes versus his ankle.
Yeah, I mean, he practiced. He practiced all week, and that's the crazy thing to me, and practiced in full, which I can't believe he did. I think early on, Lou Anarumo goes after him. We get to see in real live time how that ankle affects him. Can he get away from the pressure? Can he get away from the pressure and make plays, or is he a sitting duck in the pocket? So it is going to be a pain management thing for him. The Bengals have to take advantage of it if he is indeed hurting enough to not play well.
No quarterback in the NFL threw more from outside the pocket this season than Patrick Mahomes. If he's not able to get outside, that could be a huge wrinkle to the Chiefs' offense. Let's send it over to Marissa, who has another special guest.
Well, NFL Network's Brian Baldinger is one of the best at analyzing what's happening on the field, especially when it comes to the offensive line. Baldy now joins Dan Hoard to break down what the Bengals did against the Bills and look ahead to Sunday's tilt against the Chiefs.
We are joined by NFL Network analyst Brian Baldinger. Brian, you were an NFL offensive lineman for 11 years. How would you describe the performance of the Bengals offensive line last week, missing 3 starters?
It was brilliant. It was a brilliant performance by Jackson at left tackle and Max at right guard and Akeem at right tackle. I mean, you wouldn't know that they were the backups. And that's a credit to Frank Pollock, the offensive line, the coaching, because it's not easy in those conditions against a really good defense. But it was one of the best offensive performances they've had all year. And you really can't find a lot of bad plays or missed assignments or anything from those 3 right now.
Brian, at one point during the game last week, you tweeted very simply, Joey B doesn't miss. When you're watching Joe Burrow, what makes you shake your head and say, this kid's unbelievable?
You know, everything in this world, I don't care what you do, you throw a football, you learn how to spin a basketball on your finger. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, everything is difficult before it gets easy. And for Joe, he just makes it look easy. Like, he's going through progressions, about as fast as you can go through a progression, yet the footwork, the delivery, the fundamentals are all there to make sure the ball is thrown at the right spot. And that's obviously not easy to do, and very few can do it. Yet here he is in his 3rd year, and he's doing it. Like, on a consistent basis. Oh, by the way, it's snowing out, it's cold, it's a slick field, it's in hostile territory, and you wouldn't know. He could be in his backyard in Athens, Ohio, throwing to his dad or something. It wouldn't be any different, probably.
Last thing, Brian, what are a couple of your biggest keys on Sunday?
I got to believe that, Jamar and T are going to get chances on the outside against these guys. And so a lot of them are contested catches. I like your receivers against their corners. Joe's going to give it to them and a chance to do it and to see what kind of damage they can inflict. I think that's important. And then, the running game was really good last week. It was really good. And, when that happens, Joe's going to be even better when the running game takes off.
Brian, we love talking football with you. Thanks so much for your time. Keep up the great work.
When we return, Gary is back with Zach as he lets us in on a little secret ahead of Sunday. What must the Bengals do to return to the Super Bowl? That's when we return.
Join Dan Horde and Dave Lapham Wednesday nights for the Bengals Game Plan Radio Show Live, presented by Bud Light. Visit Bengals.com/gameplan for a list of locations each week.
Zach, I don't know if you were aware or not, but when you beat the Ravens in the playoffs, the Bengals had never played them in the postseason. So there's only 4 teams left that never played. On the flip side, the Chiefs you played in just last year's AFC Championship game, what's it going to take to get out of there with their Lamar Hunt trophy?
You got to operate with urgency when it gets loud. Great job with your communication and your urgency to get set in case we got to make any adjustments. Like it always is, and has really come down for these games for us, capitalizing in the red zone on 4-point plays and winning the turnover battle, which we've done. And there's no secret to why we've been able to win when we've been able to do that.
You want the Lombardi trophy, but you won the Lamar Hunt, which is the conference championship. What's that feeling like to at least accomplish that?
Yeah, it was a great feeling last year to be on a stage, getting a trophy. That's a special thing to do in this league. There's a great history in this league with that trophy, and so again, that's all we control this week is fighting for that trophy, and so that's what we're going to do.
Well, the Bengals' rise to prominence over the last 2 seasons has converted more than a few fans to Bengals Nation, including a group that Local 12's Megan Mangello found that attended their first Bengals game this season in a way that can only be described as an act of the Almighty.
In early November, a group of seminarians from North Carolina came to cheer on the Panthers. They gave free tickets to a group of sisters in Cincinnati.
Every time the Bengals would score a point or have a touchdown, we turn around and say, "Ha-ha, I gotcha." And it was good for people to see that because they saw people have a stereotype of nuns or priests or religious, and we're just normal people.
They share the city's love of the orange and black. The Carmelite Daughters of St. Elias wear Bengals hats over their veils and even put up a sign on their porch and over the Rhine.
Who is your favorite player and why? Well, isn't his name Joseph?
Yeah.
Because his name is Joseph.
Joseph Burrow is your favorite
Joseph
player?
Burrow. No, I actually know who he is.
Sister Iona of the Cross, Sister Elizabeth, Sister Claire Joseph of the Cross, and Mother Superior Marie Cecile are some of the most devout in Bengals Nation.
Game day here is really loud. When you walk past the bars, you can't not know which way the game is going.
The sisters don't own a television, so they rely on fans in bars cheering or booing. And they also watch the football move in a scoring app on their phone.
Blessed Mother, it needs to go over there. And then I'd say some Hail Marys, and then all of a sudden it'd go boop. The next time I'd send St. Joseph in.
Joseph Burrow isn't just called a saint by these nuns. Candles are for sale in local shops that will allow you to pray for a win. Prayers can come in many forms, including this spirit-filled Houday rap.
Some people ask us why we pray for a football game, but it's more than just a football game. Because to pray or to win, it ain't no sin. Cause I'm from C-I-N-C-I-N-N-A-T-I. This is my hometown, gonna love it till I die. When the Bengals do play, I get on my knee and I pray. With the Virgin Mary on call, St. Joseph, get us the ball. Boom, why not us? It can be us. Give God the glory. This is our story. Who they think they can beat them Bengals when they play in Missouri? I say nobody.
I can't follow that one up, so I'll just tell you that the game on Sundays for the Lamar Hunt Trophy will return to Cincinnati. Find out on Local 12, the AFC Championship game, 6:30 kicks off. And then join us on Sunday, 11:30 for our playoff special. And right after the game, post-game coverage, it's all on your TV home of the Bengals, Local 12. Let's check one back time from Kansas City with Gary Miller.
Last year's AFC Championship game was played just one day later in that stadium. It was milder. The Chiefs were favored, but of course the Bengals came out on top. Now, one thing that is unlike any team ever, get to the Super Bowl, start your season 0-2, but make it back to the conference championship. What do you say let's take it one step further and win the thing? I'm all for that. Back to the guys in the studio.
Thanks, Gary. That's the end of another edition of Bengals Weekly. Marissa, same time next week?
Let's do it. Let's keep this rolling. Thanks for tuning in. For Chris, Gary, and our entire crew, I'm Marissa Contepelli. Hope to see you next week.
Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And AltaFiber, proud to be the official internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals.